Hello, my name's Jamie Howard. I am a 67-year-old pensioner, and I'm also a grandfather of four gorgeous and very lively granddaughters. And last year I did something quite crazy. I took part in something called the world's toughest row, and I decided to row solo along with another 38 boats. It's an annual event. The race itself goes from Gomera in the Canary Islands and to Antigua in the Caribbean. You don't go straight there, you follow the trade winds from Gomera. So you head south initially towards Cape Verde. You then start turning southwest, following generally the trade winds, and eventually west towards Antigua. The conditions from December onwards are suitable for the row. When I did it, we had very strong winds to start with, and then towards the end the conditions improved. The boat itself it's a fiberglass boat. It's 24 foot long. It has a cabin at the front and the back, and in the middle is an open deck which you row on, obviously. They're quite sophisticated. I had two solar panels, one on the front, one on the back, and they power things like the water maker. So made drinking water out of the salt water, and it made about 30 litres an hour, and it was really good water actually, so that was quite an important aspect of the boat. So switch on everything here, and immediately the chart plotter is starting up. We make sure the AIS, the automatic identification system, is running, so you can follow me actually on marine traffic. It's an app, and you just look for EFA, the VHF radio and chart plotter. Bilge pump we don't need on, the USB for charging up through the solar panels there, cabin lights, and then we have the battery condition there. So that's just starting up, and then we'll plot a course and set up the auto helm and get going. I had a auto tiller, which is an auto helm which keeps you on the course that you've set on it. So that's quite important, especially when you're asleep. It means that the boat is still going on the course that you want. I had satellite telephones, I had a VHF radio. I also had what's called AIS, which is an automatic identification system, which allows other ships to see you, because they're obviously small, there's a danger of collision. And I saw quite a lot of big ships, and in fact one night I almost got run down by a cruise ship. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. But the boats are they're self-righting and very, very capable, and my confidence in the boat grew over the first sort of couple of weeks or so, and that sort of reduced my level of stress, and basically my confidence in the boat grew, and it did everything it was I asked of it. I had about a year, just over a year, to get ready for this row, and to get myself fit and increase my knowledge of the boat and rowing and all that sort of thing. And I wanted to give myself the best possible chance of succeeding in this particular venture. So I had to get myself in shape, and I took on two of the top ocean rowing trainers, one for rowing and the other for getting myself fit. I'm 67 years old. I have most of the problems that occur when you are my particular age. I suffer from a thing called ankylosing spondylitis, which is a chronic arthritic condition, and I was diagnosed in 2007 for this. And I have fusing in my neck and my lower back. And obviously this is going to be a possible challenge for me. So it was important that I got fit, so I bought myself a rowing machine. I was given my daily exercises by my ocean rowing trainer, Gus Bolton is his name. I rowed for up to 2 hours every day. I did press-ups, push-ups, every other sort of physical contortion that you can imagine. And gradually I felt myself getting fitter. My ocean rowing trainer was a chap called Duncan Roy, who's crossed the ocean many times, calls himself rowing Roy, and we had several sessions actually on the boat. I could already row, so I had an advantage there, and I knew a bit about the sea, but he covered all sorts of aspects like how to deal with emergencies, and so I had to have certificates for first aid at sea, survival and navigation. And by the time I got to Gomera, ready for the start of the race, I did feel thoroughly prepared. I think the only thing I wasn't prepared for was the size of the waves on the ocean. The actuality of facing huge ocean waves was quite a steep learning curve, I suppose you would say, for me. The nights were very long and they were generally pitch dark, and I always dreaded them slightly, but the first night was before I'd really got the hang of being on the ocean with big waves and that sort of thing. The wind had increased during the first day, and then it got dark. I had to deploy the para anchor, which is like a big parachute which I put out the front of the boat, which effectively stops you dead in the water and means you're facing into the waves. So I retreated into my cabin, and the cabin was like essentially a sort of fiberglass sound box, so everything was magnified, and it was like being in a tumble dryer, I suppose. And I sort of imagined it a little bit like being under an artillery barrage, because there were waves crashing over the boat. I was feeling a bit sick. I felt very lonely and disorientated, and I thought, gosh, what on earth am I doing? I feel really good and very positive, and really glad to have got started. Thanks so much. Bye. Good morning on day 9. I reckon this morning is about as calm as it's possible for an ocean to get. Merry Christmas everyone from the Atlantic Ocean, somewhere between the Canary Islands and Cape Verde. It's day 19, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve in fact. Bright morning, cloudless sky, light breeze from east-northeast. I've now achieved 1,000 miles, which is probably slightly over a third of the way, so still quite a long way to go. Good morning on the 31st day on the ocean. It's been pretty lumpy and wild over the last 3 days. Yesterday I had a Marlin strike and I received 2 holes in the boat. Good morning on day 53 on the ocean. I just stopped for a bite to eat, some breakfast, having porridge. And I'm going to mix through some peanut butter to try and see how that works. I have a craving for toast at the moment for some extraordinary reason. I'm now sitting on 569 miles to go. Good morning on day 61 on the ocean. There's a definite end of term feel about the place at the moment. We're now down to under 250 miles to go. Well, that's Antigua ahead, that's 12 miles away. So I left Gomera 70 days ago and we've crossed the Atlantic Ocean. We're not quite sure what to make of it. It'll all come out in the next few days. Why? That's a very good question, and not one I can answer particularly easily. But at the time I had had a few years which had been very stressful. I'd lost my second wife to cancer. I'd had to sell my island home, which I'd lived on for 35 years. And I decided I need to make myself useful, actually, and I just needed a sort of watershed, I suppose, in life. And I do remember one of the other previous rowers saying that for him it was a reset, as it were. So I needed a reset. Also, I wanted to test myself to a certain extent. And have a whole set of new memories. On quite a calm day in mid-ocean, I was rowing along quite happily, and I saw this huge shape darting in and out of the boat, under the boat, and it was a marlin, of course, an Atlantic blue marlin, and I thought, well, that's rather exciting. Lovely clear water, so you could see everything that was going on, and I could see just the edge of on the edge of the boat looked like a tuna which had been wounded. It was hiding under my boat. So I got my camera, my GoPro, and I thought, well, this would be nice to film. So I did that. I thought it was very exciting. And then suddenly, the marlin bill pierced up through the underneath the boat. So I knew immediately I had a hole in the boat which I'd have to sort out, and I opened up the locker to see where the damage was, and I was peering down through the hole and I could see the ocean below when the Marlin bill came up through the boat again, right in front of my very eyes, and thrashed around for a while, did quite a lot of damage, and then it slid out. And then this huge fish leapt out of the water close to the boat and leapt away from the boat, I'm very glad to say, because if it had landed in the boat I would have been in big trouble. Hello from the Atlantic Ocean. The last week has been a mixture of horror and fun. The first few days didn't go too well. I felt very queasy. Having told everyone on the Gomera, oh me, I never get seasick, so that was a bit embarrassing. The waves were huge. I was feeling not great, no appetite, drank lots, and I just slept a great deal. So my landing curve has been quite steep. Today everything has changed for the better. I recalibrated the auto helm, so that's now working. The sun is out, the wind has dropped a little bit. It's sort of easterly force 3-4, I would say, and we're making progress. Well, it's day 10, which is a bit of a landmark, I suppose. They always say that the first 7 to 10 days are the worst, and so far so good. It just gets better and better every day. I do find that talking and having to be responsible for other people a bit of a distraction. So when you're on your own, you're entirely responsible for yourself, and it's a more focused experience from my point of view. And the Atlantic gave me all of that in spades. I saw a couple of whales on the departure from Gomera, Minky, I think. A dolphin popped up on day 3, and I've seen a couple of fish. A little seabird, a petrel, comes to visit me twice a day. Good morning, it is 5 o'clock on the morning of the 27th day on the ocean. I have been rowing since 4 o'clock this morning, quite a quiet night. Morning on day 39. Pretty brisk north-northeast blowing at the moment. Recently testing conditions. Welcome to the 70th and probably the last day on the ocean. I have 35 miles to go now to Antigua. It's quite wet and there's an easterly wind. I'm having to row across the waves, so it's quite hard work. But I should arrive this evening sometime, probably after dark, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm about 30 miles out and I have spotted Antigua! Hooray! Two fishermen came past in a fast dory, lots of waving, and these are the first humans I've seen for 70 days, so that was really great. I expect to make landfall, probably not before 9 o'clock tonight, so there we go, exciting stuff.
I'd like to thank the two charities, the National Axial Spondyloarthritis Society and openseas.org.uk, to my sponsors, the Estates Office Argyll, the Island Bakery on the Isle of Mull and Efter Coffee. I'd also like to thank the Wells Toughest Road team, to Duncan Roy, my rowing coach, Gus Barton, my physical coach, to Sir Ranulph Fiennes for his support, and to Linda and Sir Quentin Blake for their incredible support. and all those whose invaluable support made this possible. And finally, my daughter Kay Lauren Kennard, who kept the whole show on the road.